Hello, babies. Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. This is episode 127, which happens to be my birthday. 127, don't forget that. I'm looking for happy birthday greetings in another month or so. If you are a Patreon patron, thank you so much for your patronage. If you are watching us on YouTube for free a week later, if you can link your Twitch Prime account, just follow the instructions below, then they will get some money to Shane so he can eat meat. And if you are watching on YouTube and you're not a Prime member and you can't afford Patreon, please follow us on Twitter at Dinfire, at Michael Pachter, at SIFTD Games. Our first question from Patreon from Jerry Gonzalez with an S. PlayStation Classic not being well received, do you see an end of the microconsole trend? Or has Nintendo shown it's the only company capable of making it work? Interesting. I would say, unfortunately, Microsoft isn't old enough as a company, as a game maker, to pull this off yet with an Xbox original bundle, like a plug and play. Those games might be a little too complicated, but PlayStation Classic, Nintendo's history is back to 85, so they can bunch in anything between 85 and 2000. PlayStation really kind of launched in 94, so they've only got 6 years worth of stuff, and Microsoft launched in 01, so they've got no years of stuff pre-2000. But the answer is, I would say in the next 10 years, not the next 1 year, you'll get an Xbox Classic, and there will be, the original Halo on it. I mean, they can do that. Game files got big, as in gigabytes versus megabytes, and so putting them on a console requires a lot of flash memory. It's not really expensive, but it's an extra 20 or 30 or 50 bucks, and then you need a faster CPU GPU combo. Again, not expensive, but an extra 10 bucks or so. So you're looking at adding $35 or $50, and I think that's coming. And it might take 10 years, but I think it's coming. So Nintendo is the only company capable because they had NES and SNES, and so they had hundreds of games between 85 and 2000 to throw onto this thing. The easiest way to do this is sell it for 20 bucks, not 80 bucks. Make it cheap, and people will think, what the hell? It's bite-sized, snack-sized stuff. I'm really surprised that, we're not just getting like more arcade-type games. They're very easy to make, even if they pay the license fee and put Tetris on there or Pac-Man or whatever. Sony could be putting Namco classics, like all the original Galaga, Galaxy and stuff, which were arcade games and not PlayStation. And I think the problem was they're trying to make this a PlayStation device instead of just a, retro device, and they could put other stuff, and that would save it, and that's the easiest way to do it. But no, I think this proves that the companies that have been making games the longest have the biggest library, and they have the most success. Next question from Twitter from @GreatMuta3. With Rockstar giving up the trademark for Agent, is it finally time to say it's done? Look, Agent, what an interesting story. PlayStation? Yeah, the PlayStation press conference at E3 in 2009, Rockstar gets up and announces Agent. 2009. Last I checked, this is 2018. So there have been 10 E3s, including that one. So 2009, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 10 E3s and no word of Agent. Why are they giving it up? I mean, I don't know. So, okay, Agent's not coming out. Is Agent going to be Titan? Is Agent going to be the same as Blizzard's Titan that turned into Blizzard's Overwatch? Maybe. Do you think that the Rockstar guys would actually throw away the code? Probably not. My bias is there's a game coming. Maybe they decided Agent was a tired concept. I think Agent was supposed to be spy, stealth, whatever. And maybe they decided to change it. Maybe they're going to make it, gangster, and it'll be, instead of Agent, it'll be gangster. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But let's be real. You got a Rockstar game a year from 2001 through 2013, and then none in 14, 15, 16, and 17. Finally, Red Dead. I don't think we needed Agent to be the next game. Had it come out next year, that would be 10 years from announcement to release. So, it's one thing to say, is Rockstar working on a Max Payne sequel or an LA Noire sequel or a Midnight Club sequel or even Bully or Manhunt, whatever. Yeah, they are. But they've never announced anything that took more than, I believe, 2 years to come out. I'm pretty sure GTA 5 was announced November 1st, 2011 and came out in September of 13. Red Dead was about 2 years from announcement to launch. Agent is the anomaly in that whole list, but they announced it in 09 and then we never heard about it again. I remember reading the Rockstar blog, and I've stopped reading it because it's archived so poorly. Like, you can't search it or find anything, but I used to read it, every month. And I remember, man, not that long ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, probably 15, they confirmed Agent was still in development. I remember reading that. So is it done? If it was in development in 15 and it had been 6 years, I don't see them just abandoning that. We haven't seen Take-Two take a big write-down. We haven't seen a $60 million or $100 million game write-down. Unless they do that, I would say it's not done. I think they're going to leverage the investment and they're going to come out with another game. So yes, Agent is done. Probably something else is coming. This 5-year break between 13 and 18, they didn't stop working. They just kind of, everything got delayed and bunched up. And I think all their studios are going to start being really super productive beginning around 2020. And I think you're going to see a rash of Rockstar games. And I think that's the guys who work there want to bring out games. I mean, they're not trying to be, dicks and say you're never getting a game. They all want to produce games. So, all right, fellow babies. Our next question from SIFTD from Iviz. Hi, Pachter. Hi, Iviz. Could you please shed some light on damage control in the games industry? Battlefield 5 has terrible marketing, misleading first trailers, and EA has done a poor job communicating with players. Advertisements are scarce, so it appears that EA is going for a soft launch while expected modes and features are gradually added to the game. With games as a service muting the importance of launch window sales, we see more publishers following the strategy going forward. I'm not sure I agree with pretty much anything you're saying except the first sentence. So look, I've seen a ton of Battlefield advertising. The game looks beautiful. It got significantly better Metacritic scores than I expected. The PC version, which for some odd reason is the highest, has the highest number of reviews, got an 81. The Xbox One version, which got the next highest number of views, got a 79. The PS4 version got a 73, but it only had something like 15 reviews. But those review scores are good enough. So I don't think it's a bad game. As far as terrible marketing, you've got to watch NFL football because the ads are nonstop on NFL football. They're also on, pop shows like The Walking Dead, which I watch. So I've been seeing ads nonstop. As far as misleading, occasionally I think that companies hire marketing agencies, advertising agencies, and they come up with concept art and it is misleading. And I'm sure that, these are the kind of comments that EA should take to heart. I believe in, I don't want to say it's misleading, I believe in truth in advertising, and I believe in letting people know what they're going to get, and you shouldn't show something that's not in the game. And I doubt that very many people actually cared. In fact, probably more likely than not, those initial ads, the backlash to the ads that we don't want that was enough to get them to take it out of the game. So it's probably more likely that the marketing was true when it first came out and they first did the trailers and they adjusted the game to get rid of the stuff people didn't like. Remember, the game was delayed a month. And when it was delayed a month, we weren't sure what exactly they were going to fix, but it might have been they launched the beta and the people who in the beta said, I don't like, robot arms or chicks in trench coats, and they took them out in the next month. I don't really know because I obviously didn't see the beta feedback and EA did. But okay, in fairness, yes, I think it's bad to mislead gamers, and I think it's, the ideal is get it right. The way that companies do that is practice. And, I think that part of the problem with Battlefield this year is it was a 2-year development cycle. Battlefield 1 came out 2 years ago. Battlefield 5, they could have benefited from an extra year and made sure that they got everything right. I heard recently from Activision that next year's Call of Duty is done. Now, by done, I mean, I'm sure they mean level design, dialogue and build, but they're going to keep fixing it. And the reason they said it was to let us know it's not going to be a piece of crap. So they weren't saying it like done and we're going to release it next week. They said done and now we have a year to polish it and make it beautiful. I think that's the smartest way to make a game. Take your time. Why did Red Dead get a 97? Because it's been done for 2 years. And it was done and probably going to get an 85. And the last 2 years, they tweaked every little detail that they could to make it even better, down to like the hairs on the horse's mane, flopping the right direction in the wind. I mean, they were really smart about it, and people just love the game. So Nintendo's like that. Their games come out when they're ready, and you're going to see more developers go a little longer, and I think 3 is probably the right number of years to make sure you get a game right. Our last question this week from YouTube, from Ben Clock. Hey Pack, have you tried Red Dead Redemption 2? How do you like it? Unfortunately, I haven't. The people at Take-Two, who are really nice folks, somehow they have this corporate weird policy that they don't send me free games. I don't know why. I did a pack attack back on Game Trailers back in 2010, and I got the same question on Red Dead 1. And somebody asked me if I played Red Dead 1, and I said the company doesn't send me games. And I went to E3 in 2010, so the game came out in May. I did a pack attack, and it was probably the first week in June. So somehow one of the gaming press people wrote an article, Take-Two hates Pachter, doesn't send him free games. And they had their analyst event at E3, and I was sitting in a group of maybe 20 analysts who cover the stock and another 50 investors. And Ben Feder at the time was the chief operating officer at Take-Two, was making a presentation about the company, and he said, and hey, it's come to our attention that Michael Pachter hasn't gotten his copy of Red Dead Redemption. Michael, if you'd like to come up to the stage, I have a copy for you. So I got up from my chair and I got almost to the podium, and Ben said, $59.95 and we'll take cash or credit. And I turned around and I walked back to my desk, my chair, and I said, I just sat down, and he didn't understand why I was doing that. And I told some Take-Two people how horribly embarrassing that was, and how I found that to be just a rude thing to do, even though he was kidding. And they sent me a free copy, and with a nice apology. And I have to say, Ben is a good dude, and I know him now, and I like him now. It was a poor attempt at humor, and I didn't think it was funny. But the more interesting thing is, that was 2010. I have not gotten a free game from Take-Two since. They don't send me a code. It's not. I get maybe a physical copy costs them $10 or $12, and FedExing it costs $10 or $12. So they don't want to spend 25 times the hundreds of people who want their games, I guess. It will cost them $5,000 per game to send it out to everybody. But they could send digital codes, and they don't. And again, I'm a rich guy. I can buy whatever the hell I want. So it really doesn't matter to me if I get them free or not. But to answer your question, if I get them free, I'm more likely to pop them into my disk drive and try them. If I don't get them free, I'm almost certain not to buy them. And it's not because I can't afford them. I have too much shit to do. I actually did play Red Dead Redemption 1 on Xbox as part of the Xbox Games with Gold. I think I got it free, or it was part of, I played it 2 or 3 years ago, but I got it free through Xbox. But I almost never buy games unless it's something that I really want to play. I bought The Witcher on PC. Witcher 3. I really wanted to play it. I bought Fallout 3, not Fallout 4, because Bethesda sent me that. You know, short of that, life's too short. And I literally look through, I get every Activision game made, every Nintendo game made, pretty much every publisher, every Ubisoft game made. I got enough to do, so I don't really need them to send it. And I don't think it matters what I think of the game. It got a 97 Metacritic, something like that, 96, 97. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pachter Factor, episode 127, my birthday. And if you're a Patreon patron watching it early, we appreciate that your patronage. If you are watching on YouTube a week late, please try to link your Twitch Prime account. It's pretty easy, and Shane will get some money out of that. You have to do it every month, but remember to do it, and you're at no cost to you. You're paying for this great content. And if you're not paying and you're just a fan, thank you so much for your fandom. Would appreciate a follow on Twitter. At Michael Pachter is me. At Dinfire is Shane. At SIFTD Games is SIFTD. And we will see you next week. Thank you.